Hi, my name is Joseph. I'm 33 years old. I'm based out of Austin, Texas, born and raised, and this is Financial Audit.
Joseph, welcome back. This is a follow-up episode, your fourth follow-up episode. You do not have needed to see any episode before this, because this is just going to be like any other financial audit, except what's special is we have the money guy, singular, because there's two of them. So
we are money guy.
Welcome, money guy. So, Joseph, so you've been on more than any other guest, and the reason is because, sure, maybe you made a little progress a couple times over a few episodes, but there's still so many issues to deal with that you just weren't dealing with. So maybe my approach that personally works on me and works on a lot of other people, but doesn't work on some, might not work on you. So I brought in the most knowledgeable people from YouTube finance. So that's why they're all here.
What a compliment.
Yeah. Well, I mean that. I mean that seriously. I don't think there's anyone more qualified when it comes to actual finances who's on finance YouTube, right?
I love it.
Not that I know of.
I love it. Thank you for
We'll
that.
take the compliment.
Yeah. So we're gonna see if we're gonna go through everything just like a normal audit, but feel free to jump in anytime, and I'll set you guys up as well, and then ask them any questions. And I don't know, man. I'm cheering for you more than like almost any guest. You give me phone calls every once in a while. We chat. I want you to do well. I want you to do so well. And you came in here the first time taking out payday loans, just insane 500, 600% payday loans. And you weren't paying them off. You were letting things go to collections. You were just allowing so much to go wrong. Clean that up a little, but we still struggled with a lot of things. You were talking about last time, even though you were making barely any money, upgrading your rent to a much more expensive place. First of all, did you decide to do that?
No.
Good lad. What's your rent?
The rent is, it jumped up a bit to $640, and that's fine because I
It's
looked
incredible in Austin, though.
Yeah, I looked around and was like, okay, yeah, you can get away with it. So,
And what is your job these days, and what are you making?
still do the airport. It's 20 an hour. So,
Now, we talked about potential different career paths, and I know it's been over 6 months since we had an episode, and I've specifically talking to managers. It has been over 6 months, right?
yes, I remember, I think it was January, February.
You're giving a face. I wasn't 100% sure. But there have been managers on the show from Whataburger who say, okay, dude, you can start at Whataburger, and with 6 months of training and moving up, as long as you are a good worker and hard, you can be making $80,000 as a manager at Whataburger. I know. It's kind of exciting. We talked about different potential career paths to get you more money, and you always talk about wanting to get more money so you have more ability to, catch up in life because you're in your mid-30s, $0 for retirement, and paying off the debts and trying to take control of your situation. Why did you stay where you are, even though we talked about potentially the opposite?
Well, my expenses kind of reduced drastically.
Go on.
I think I'd rather save that for when we get into the...
When we go through the bills.
Yeah.
Okay.
I want to leave a little to the imagination for now.
Okay. All
Also,
right.
I was really
Build suspense.
Yeah.
I'm on the edge of my seat.
I was really excited when you called and said like, hey, Brian and Bo are coming to Austin. If you can, money guys to record, we're gonna see each other on this day. And I was like, oh, that sounds cool. I can't miss that. Then we hung up, and I was like, wait a minute, this is an intervention.
I do have a quick question.
Yeah.
When I watched your show last, Joseph, you had mentioned that you had an outstanding tax bill. Do you still have an outstanding tax bill, a lien, or with the IRS? What do you have going on with that?
I have taken into account that I would be paying. I think, Caleb, you mentioned that you could do this quarterly, but is there a way to do that monthly just to pay?
That was when you were self-employed. Are you self-employed?
No longer, no, but don't I still owe those taxes?
Wait. I'm not exactly sure that context for that. I think... did I say that in there?
No, I was just
watched the episode.
I was just a
don't
gig
think I said
worker,
that.
and I've been doing that for since 2015 on and off.
Oh, what I was recommending for a lot of the gig work was
30%.
doing estimated
Well,
taxes.
I was trying to just...
That's different than owing back taxes.
What
Yeah.
do you owe in back taxes, though? Because I know we were going to talk about debts and things
Remember,
like
I saw a
that,
letter in the mail for about 5 figures.
Okay.
So I want to knock that out of the way before.
Did you?
No. But I want
Have
to
you not touched it? Have you talked to the IRS, tried to get a payment plan, anything before potential legal action or wage
because I
garnishment?
could get yes, exactly. But I've taken that into account. It's like say $250 a month going into this month, next month.
Instead of actually
SEO.
taking care of your situation?
Like you're actually paying that to the IRS, or The $250 a month right now?
Oh, I think he's saying he's taking that into account for his future
like
expenses.
I do my expenses like, okay, $250 is going to taxes.
But you don't send it to
maybe
them.
more. No.
So
I haven't gone about calling them yet.
When I watched your show, I found myself yelling at the screen a little bit. And I want to tell you, because there's a tool, and I can even send it to Caleb after the show. The IRS offers offer and compromise, for anybody who has outstanding debts and there's concern that it's not collectible. And they even have a feasibility a tool built on the IRS website to let you kind of go through. Have you gone down that process to see if maybe you can work out a compromise with the IRS? Because they don't want people to be so far in debt that you can't function. So they do have a process to kind of minimize that.
Thank you for bringing up that.
Have you ever heard of that or gone down that pathway?
No, thank you for that tip.
Okay, well, I'm going to send you the links.
Yes.
And you ought to try that as well as get on some type of installment basis, because unfortunately the outstanding liability just keeps building on itself. And interest rates are now pretty hard.
It's about 15,000, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was something crazy.
Yeah, that's what I remembered. It was 15,000.
So imagine if you did do the offer and compromise. Say, hey, I can't do this, but can we get on a plan where I can pay you back $8,000 and I'll pay this much every month? Think about what that would do for you. Yeah, that'd be a huge opportunity you ought to at least look into.
Save a good chunk of salary too. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Is that something you're actually interested in? Because sounds like you haven't tried to pursue anything. You're just literally assuming that $250 is going to be taken out of your account in the future from your pay.
That's not too generous, is it?
You just haven't taken action. So I'm curious if you're, even though there's this resource that, again, the most knowledgeable people, I think, in finance on YouTube are, they're going to send our way so we can send your way. Is that something you would actually pursue?
The last couple of months, I've been focusing on, I guess what I call a Triforce system, where like I figure out, okay, my checks are going all into high yield savings. And every month, every first of the month, I withdraw from the high yield savings what I need to pay my bills, and then for allowance. So I have 3 different accounts. And so like once I have that sorted out, I was like, okay, what do I have left to pay for taxes?
No offense, but as someone who has gone on a worse debt than you were in at the beginning, why not follow what I've said for 3 episodes? Why make some triangle plan? Why a triangle plan when I've said what to do?
Damn it, I failed.
No, I mean, I'm glad you're taking step. I'm just so confused why we're sitting here and you're like, I've created this brand new invention of a plan, which just sounds convoluted and complicated for no reason. You're not taking advantage of the things that are actually taken advantage of in high yield savings. That money's not sitting there. It's not growing. Well, now we're listening to what I said. Sorry, guys. I get loud sometimes.
No, that's okay. So I want to make sure I understand this. You have these 3 accounts, right? You have a high yield account. And then you pull money out, and that goes into a bill account. And then your third account,
I would call it the bill account, yes,
is an allowance account.
Yes.
I'm assuming that's like spending, bills, and high yield. Is debt coming out of your bill account? Like, are you actually decreasing your debt through time, or are you just covering
the bill? I was thinking the IRS, the debt to IRS could go in the bill account.
It could, but it hasn't. Like, what's going in the bill account right now?
Well, like for this month, I was just gonna leave like $200 to $300, and that was just for the taxes. And I was thinking of talking to I was gonna go like to Sun Loans about seeing how to get tax preparation.
Buddy, it's been over 6 months.
Yeah, you said this month. Wasn't your last thing in like January, February?
Yeah.
Like, what's happened in the 8 or 9 months since then?
Because I told you recently you'd be coming on the show, so you're like, it's time to actually fix what I should have fixed the last 8 months. Buddy, I love you too much for you to just around like that. Sorry.
I'm only
just
listening.
Question.
Yeah. I'm only listening. I have no retort to that. Yeah.
Well, it's good to get reasons why, so we can at least know how to address.
What do you want? Like when you think about your financial situation, where you are today, what do you actually want to look different a year from now? Like, what would be a positive, hey, forget the steps, forget the things you have to do, forget the advice that you're going to get from the 3 of us.
Yeah.
What's the outcome that you would like to see?
Are you running short for ideas on short videos? Today's video sponsor, Opus Clip, can help you with just that. Opus Clip is the ultimate AI tool that is changing the short form game. It takes any piece of long-form content and turns it into shorts. The tool is super easy to use. Just drop your YouTube video link or import from Google Drive into Opus.pro and watch as it generates clips ranked by their viral potential. We've actually started using Opus Clips for our Clips channel shorts. And honestly, they've been starting to take off. If this tool had existed when I was starting, that would have saved so much time for me, just saying. But I'm glad we're at least using it now. Just click the link in the description below and sign up for a free account for Opus Clip, and you can get started today.
It sounds a bit ambitious, but I'm looking at, well, first the credit score needs to come up, and then look at houses.
Okay, so you want to improve your credit score. The reason why you would improve it in credit score is so that you could borrow more money. I'm not going to fault you on that, right? Because buying a house is, that's a necessary thing. So you want to improve your credit score so one day you can be a homeowner, right? So that's like that's this goal way down the line. Back up a little bit from that. Before you get to home ownership, what's the goal what do you want your life to look like 6 months before you buy a home?
Get halfway done with paying the taxes before I'm garnished.
How long would it take? Because these have been on back for
years.
What?
To have $15,000 of debt, it has to be years, right?
Yeah.
I would like to know how much debt you have, because I know that's where we were talking. I'd like to kind of just know how far, because I think those are noble causes to get your credit score up, to do the house. And I want to give you a compliment too, because you were nice enough. You sent us some of these account statements. I did notice, and I don't know if it's because you knew you were coming on Caleb's show, but in August or July, you had tons of transactions on the credit card. And I mean, I was like, whoa, why is Joseph even using a credit card? But then I noticed
last month was not in the plan.
Yeah, last month's credit card, it was a desert of transactions. It was just like payments and no spending hardly. I mean, you did have some, but I was like, wow. So, I mean, you can shut it down when you want to. And I wonder if it's the accountability and the awesome highness that Caleb can take his notes to. But
the Dollar Bill Bros, which is our trio name, I guess has to audit you every month so that the previous month is the desert of spending. You know what else is a noble exercise, by the way?
Right.
Hitting that subscribe button, because we're trying to get to
look at that.
We're trying to get to 1 million subscribers, and thank you all so much. And thank you for being the guest on the show, and thank you to everyone who has been a guest. Thank you for visiting, guys. Should we go through your debts?
Yeah, I'd like to.
Yeah, please. Let's get the roasting over with.
This Capital One, this is your mom's, correct?
Yes.
We talked about how to potentially address this solution.
When you say your mom's, what does that mean?
Whose Social Security number is this tied to?
Yeah. The interesting thing about that is she says like, oh yeah, we pay it back every month, but 1 month in particular, I guess my brother used it a bit.
Whose Social Security number is tied to this? Yours or your mother's or somebody else?
Both of ours, because
it's a joint account then?
Yeah, because like my credit score is affected by it.
So yours is first on the account?
Believe hers, because I tagged along with her.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now,
either way, it impacts both of ours.
Yeah.
In the month where you didn't know you were going to be audited, what did we do? Okay, we made a little bit of a payment to the $2,610. That's awesome. But then you went and purchased $1,718 while interest is being accrued of $86.58, bringing it from a total balance of $2,600 to $3,600 because you knew you wouldn't be on the show. So you knew accountability wouldn't be put in front of you. So we're just like, we can fuck around and we can just spend on Whataburger, things that your service work, getting a car wash. We're washing our car money and we can't pay off debt. Now, rent a car, who knows? I don't know why that's happening. You can answer that in a second. Spotify, guess what? We can listen to ads when we cannot pay off debt. We can listen to ads, and this has to... That's like a double account Spotify, isn't it? That's a little more expensive than normal Spotify. Chipotle, Cinemark theaters. At least go to a real movie theater like Alamo Drafthouse. Hobby Lobby. We can do free hobbies, I promise. We're taking Lyft rides. We're going to the deli. We're going to Cinemark again.
Are these all you? Are you the one doing?
Yeah. Who's swiping this card?
Or is this your mom and your brother? Who's doing this?
Okay, plot twist. None of those are mine.
Oh no.
I just couldn't help myself.
What do you mean?
You couldn't
what
help
is that?
yourself?
What does that possibly mean?
I was like, okay. I haven't done any or much BS spending personally, but those were all like either my mom or my brothers, because that's just kind of and just racked it up. But here, you'll be happy to know this. Well, hopefully, there's like snuff video of them cutting up the cards and setting them on fire.
That's
so,
awesome.
and that's why you don't.
Oh, and what happened? Well, what caused that?
You only see the Spotify transaction because we forgot to lock the card, so I took care of that.
I was gonna say there's a lot more eating out, but I mean, you just said what you said. So, what caused that? What took us to that? What was the cause between? What was this? July and August?
I think my brother, he was just graduating college and he didn't have money. So he's like, hey, I still have this card. So swipe. I was like, okay, whatever. It's your last month of college.
What is it? I'm confused how that equals us chopping up the cards and catching them.
Oh no,
this was all
before.
What caused that? What caused that?
My mom says, like, you know what, we should get into a house because like the rent that we're paying, it would be cheaper to go split a mortgage versus pay rent.
So I think, I mean, this is just my perspective in the way you're talking and the way your parents have talked. The goal of getting out of debt is not a goal within itself. It sounds like you guys need that goal that is further beyond that. And for both of you guys, it sounds like house is that goal. So getting out of debt, getting the credit score up in order to take advantage of a mortgage on a house sounds like what you guys actually want to do. But getting out of debt itself is not a goal enough.
I'm just balancing at what point. So like when I have a savings, at what point is it safe to just pay off debt? You know what I mean? Like, should I save 1,000 or 2,000, then pay off the credit card?
This is how I like to do it, and I know how you guys do it as well. I mean, there's Dave Ramsey who does 1,000. I don't like that because people have been on this show and they've encountered emergencies, and more emergencies cost them $1,000 than ever before. And then they end up in a worse situation than they were before they saved the $1,000. Okay, lovely. I do a 1 month emergency fund or 2 months if you have kids, and you guys cover all the
highest deductible first.
Yeah,
highest. To go look at all your insurance.
The first
like
deductible,
primarily
like
your health insurance is probably gonna be the highest. So get your highest deductible covered, and then let's start attacking the debt.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So that could be a number if you added that all up. That could be okay. We have that, then we attack the debt.
Just okay, 1,500. So next check is going straight to the just credit card payments. Then
yeah, I mean your interest rate on your credit cards, Joseph, when I was looking at this was like I didn't even know this existed. I mean, I thought credit cards were above 20. You know, I hear people talking about 20% Yours was north of 30%. Mm-hmm. So
welcome to financial audit.
I couldn't believe it. I mean, and because it breaks my heart because a good investment year is if I can get you 8 to 10%, and then when I see that the credit card companies are charging you 30%,
it's criminal.
You won't. It's definitely punitive to the point that you can't get away from it. So that's why once you get your highest deductible covered, in our eyes, you've got to just without mercy destroy whatever debts before you, because 30% you'll never recover from if you don't just pay it off.
$516.61 as of July has been stolen from you this year in interest on just this card.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Mr. Brian. No,
thank you, Mr. Hammer, I guess.
So is the 36? So
good cop, bad cop.
So you ripped up the credit card. It's not getting used anymore, but there's still a balance of $3,600 on that. Is that who's going to pay that off? Is that you? Right. Is that your mom? Is that your brother? Who does this debt belong to today?
How's the conversations been surrounding that?
Well, my thought process is okay, if we're gonna split a mortgage, we'll need a signature, and by signature I mean we will need each party will need $7,500. And that's $5,000 towards the down payment and $2,500 towards towards an emergency fund. Because with our luck, something's bound to happen any month. And but as far as the card, been taking care between my mom and myself, really.
So the two of you are responsible for this $3,600. The two of you will knock that out.
Have you guys decided joint? Is it going to be 50-50? Have we gotten that in depth?
Well, we could do 50-50, but I can afford to knock it out faster because my expenses are lower. Because I could throw a few checks at it, I can have it taken care of in a month. But my question was just can I do it with you recommend I do it with $1,500 in savings, $2,000 in savings? because I have like 1,000 in savings right now.
But Joseph, you're trying to make these things coexist. I don't see how they can coexist. You can't get a mortgage and a house while you're running this debt. I mean, both the credit card as well as the IRS debt. I think, just being honest with you, I think it needs to be gone. I mean, you're skipping steps, and it's kind of dreaming and not connected to reality.
Plus a 6-month emergency fund before we even consider putting a down payment.
Absolutely.
On
Year.
So what is your health insurance deductible right now? Do you know how much you are responsible for in your health insurance?
I was and I was under the impression that I was enrolled, and I didn't see like a $50 deductible from my check.
Joseph, we talked about this as well. I said get on your workplace's health insurance.
No, I did. Or so I thought, like, because we had a conversation toward the end of
did talk about that a lot.
Toward the end of September. It's like, oh yeah, you're good to go starting in October. And so I thought, like, with my first payday from October, that I'd see like some kind of deductible or some kind of deduction on the paycheck. Yeah, I didn't see it, so I'm gonna talk with them about that tomorrow.
Like tomorrow, like yesterday, like that has to be something, right? Like you are flying naked right now. Yeah. That's not a good look. You don't want to be there, right? You know what I mean?
Naked. That's some southern.
That's a southern one. So, do you know what the deductible on your health insurance once it's in place?
Let's go roughly $50 a week.
But that's just the deduction. That's not the deductible.
Like if you, how much do you have to spend before
deduction? Oh yeah, the deductible. I don't remember, to be honest.
Because just to let you know, health insurance and we haven't like seen your policy, but the most of them now just are glorified discount programs where they still want you paying. Like you go to the doctor, the doctor's go try to charge $300, but and then insurance company go, no, we're not going to let you charge us $300 because we're part of this insurance. It's $80, and then they're going to send you a bill for $80, and that's what. You've got to cover all those out of pockets. And if you spend enough, if you had a lot of medical stuff, you would reach a deductible amount where they'd say, okay, finally, we'll cover more than Joseph and your family would. But right now, I bet it's just a discount program. So you need to not only have the deduction, but the deductible covered as well.
So you said you have $1,000 in savings right now.
Yes.
We don't know the deductible. You
said, good job, by the way.
And you said what? The goal, according to your plan, would be 1 month of expenses.
That's what I like, just to make it simple.
Sure. But what's your burn rate? Like, what does it cost you? Because you just told us that your rent was down to up to $640 a month.
$640.
Well, actually, I will say we will figure that out. We will figure out that burn rate. We will create his budget.
I love it.
What's a burn rate?
How much you spend?
Oh, okay.
I'm just trying to figure out what his threshold is to get to on that cash, because then everything else above, whatever that number we uncover, has to go towards the debt. Like that, it has to like militantly go towards that 100% of it.
Yep, absolutely. Let's continue going through, and then we'll create your budget and see like where your money should go and where it's actually going right now. But that's it. That's all the debt, right?
Is that it?
That's all the debt, correct? The car. I know the car has been a thorn in me every single time.
Not anymore.
Give us some updates.
So you remember how I said that car's gonna, like, I did the boy math and said, well, it's a $14,000 car, but I was charged about $22,000 after interest and packages. Yeah. But like whatever, it's gonna last 1 million miles. It's a great value.
This thing was at like 25%.
Yeah, something comical. And I was kind of hyping up how that car was immortal, and it got totaled.
No, but you had.
So does this explain all the lift?
I'm intact. Lift?
I mean, all the lift. Okay. Keep going.
That was for my brother to get around, I believe, or some. Yeah.
So your car got totaled.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us more.
I no longer have a car payment.
Okay, so the insurance fully wiped it.
Yeah.
The insurance cut your check.
So that was
that check and paid off the car.
That was the one time I inadvertently made a good decision, because
I wanted to give you a high five, but and you're okay.
Yeah, that was. Okay. I'm actually really grateful for the dude that hit me.
Sure.
Because had I gone any slower or he gone any faster, he'd have hit me directly. Okay, well he did.
Oh wow.
He hit me like in the rear, the driver rear, and we just 180. The Honda 20 is just a heavy car, so we just 180'd. And it's like,
did you have to go to the hospital or get seen by anyone?
I was really, really sore the next day, but after that, I was fine. Okay. So
good.
I'm not disabled. I can still make an income.
How'd you get here? How are you getting around?
Bus.
which is what I recommended, interestingly enough. Was it not before? We don't have the worst bus network in the world. Don't have the best. We don't have the worst. You can make it places.
It's B tier.
It's B tier, but you work at the airport, and if there's a place buses go to, it's the
going to be the airport.
I made sure I figured out the logistics. Like, okay, can I make it via bus? Yes, I can. But when can I make it? It's like, okay, I can't make it at 4 a.m. So I had to get a schedule change.
Yes.
So yeah.
Well, good on you for doing that, though. And I am glad that you wiped this.
So all we have is $3,600
So
on
hey,
Capital One
I took care of the car debt
and $15,000 in taxes. No other debt.
Is that correct?
or the insurance. Yeah, insurance did.
Is that correct? Those are the two debts, though. Capital One and
Capital
IRS.
One and IRS. Yes.
Nothing else. And the current balance on the Capital One is $3,569.
Okay, before you call me out for lying, I did honestly forget that they're because I was talking to someone at one of the debt holders collectors because they're collections agencies, right? And I was like, yeah, I'd like to take care of this because like at the time I had like about like I just got paid. I was like, yeah, let me just take care of these collections to get my credit up. And they said, well, what we can do, we can dispute it and you won't have to pay anything. And I was a bit cynical. I was like, okay, how much is this going to cost me? It's like, oh, okay, it's a case by case basis. And then it's like I forgot, I was getting this script like twice in a row, so I got really suspicious. Like, okay,
this is a scammer.
I'm gonna see what they have to say about it. Or that's like that.
That's how it ended, though.
Yeah, because I wasn't too comfortable. Like, okay, let me give you my credit card information.
You didn't give them your social security number or your dates of birth, any of that stuff. You didn't on this debt
Plus,
consolidation.
You could have asked me, man. As well.
Yeah, you're right. I'm sorry, Caleb. I should have called you right then and there. But
he calls me once a month and we talk. You could have asked me that.
Yeah, but then I thought, like, what if I just come on and ask on the show?
Oh, well.
Because I wasn't sure. Because, like, the interest, there's no accruing interest in collections. So I was like, I thought,
So you do have debt in collections too?
Yeah, can you pull up your Credit Karma? Let's take a look.
Okay. I'm going to screenshot it and send it with my 4 kilobytes of head memory.
Can you just pull it up so I can scroll?
Yeah, but...
Oh, yeah, you can send us out later if you want.
Is
this a new phone? This wasn't the phone you had last time.
Oh, no, it's the same phone. It's just...
no case.
Yeah, and also I cracked it a bit.
That's what I would say. Naked.
Yeah, it is naked.
Yeah. Well, interesting enough, the case cracked.
Okay, so we're in the 500s, 534.
Now, before you kill me, I had
card use, being bullied right now.
Wow, that's a big number.
And then what's in collections?
I had like 4 accounts.
Okay, so here we have 400 and 289.
For the record, I'd rather take care of.
You could have wiped those, dude.
So there's about $700 in collections right now. Is that?
Wait, what's Sun Loan?
Oh yeah, I actually took care of that. It just hasn't updated on.
Okay.
I sent you a short about that.
Okay. I'm sorry.
I should update
read
those
those
next few
balances
days.
again for the collections.
So Jefferson Capital, $400. I forget where that. Oh, that came from Oportun. I borrowed from them last year, and that just came up last month. National Credit Adjust, I guess, from Speedy Cash. You know what's interesting?
Wow.
What's interesting is
you haven't taken out payday loans, though, right?
Oh no.
Interesting about payday loans.
Yeah.
Absolutely nothing at all.
Well, this is pretty interesting because I don't even remember. Okay, see what happened was.
What happened was.
Forgive me, gentlemen. I went to Speedy Cash because I needed $100, and when I applied there, they told me actually you owe us. I was like, what? I could have sworn I paid y'all back, and the very next day that appears on my credit report.
But since our second episode, you have not taken out a payday loan, correct?
No.
Awesome. That's where it's at.
Good.
Dude. That's where it's at.
That's improvement. These are moving
that's a
in
life
the right
change.
direction. That's awesome.
That's a change because you were taking them out all the time. We were like, okay.
It's the only thing more egregious than credit card debt.
You wanted to get a computer once and you took out a payday loan.
Yeah, did I take care of that? Oh yeah, I did. I just didn't. Yeah.
It wasn't on there. So, I mean, that is legitimately showing progress that you're at least changing things in your life.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're no longer going into those stores for the last 8 months. Actually, since the second episode, so almost a year, you have not gone in and taken out a payday loan. That's incredible. Almost a year.
Full disclosure, maybe a pawn every once in a while, but I don't think I've done that since about 6 months.
Okay, can we please not?
Is it like you're pawning stuff that you're trying to get back, or you're just pawning stuff to get cash for it and get rid of it?
No, like a collateral. So
like you're pawning
You're
something
having
that you
to
want
pay
to
it
get
back.
back.
Yeah, so like if I lend the Xbox for $100 and pay back 20% interest.
Wow.
But you haven't done that in 6 months.
No.
And we won't do that,
I
correct?
cannot remember the last time I did that.
And we're not going to do that?
Assuming my savings doesn't get wiped out?
Buddy.
No. Okay.
What was the amount on that second collection, please? Sorry.
I believe it was $298.
$298.
So there's $400
And
for...
then $298.
Let me just go by the original creditor.
Oh, that's okay. That's fine.
Opportune, $400.
Okay.
Speedy Cash, $289. And hold on, that's on...
But that's good. So those are your actual
That's
debts.
on Equifax. For some, there's more on TransUnion.
But just like that other debt wasn't updated and taken away yet, what's like most up to date? Do you know?
Let's see it. Okay, I guess we'll go with those two. I could have sworn I seen more.
Okay. They could have fallen off. I mean, you're 33, so I could see you taking out, debt that went into collection 7 years ago. Yeah.
Well,
Mm-hmm.
You
sure,
last
that
episode you said you could. I think Caleb put together a loose budget for you after looking at your income, and then what you had expenses, and he had put a target of $900 a month of like savings.
Mm.
So I mean, you potentially could have not the IRS. The IRS, I think you need to do a little more due diligence to see before they just start taking your money back. Because
How long does it take to do that, by the way, until they
I mean, it
start
depends, because realize any communication with the IRS right now is pretty slow.
Yeah.
But still, you ought to at least go
Post-tax season.
I don't think that's not what, don't use that as an excuse. You just need to start the process or at least start the conversation, because you need to know how much, because it's not like you can get out of the IRS debt. You need to go negotiate with them and talk to them and be kind of open-handed, say, I want to get this off my books so I can be productive, buy my house that me and my family want to do. But without that, because that is a bear on your back right now. I mean, it just is. That's coming from a public accounting background. The IRS scares me tremendously. Like anytime I get a letter in the mail and it has IRS on it, it's scary. So I just want you, because you can, a lot of this debt, just like you just said, maybe that debt fell off. You can get rid of private lenders. The IRS, that's the government. That's the folks with the guns. That's the folks that can just take your stuff whenever they want to. So you got to get that under control. But I mean, $900 a month, you can do that and then have everything else paid off in 5 months. So your dreams are like right there. It's not like this is like pie in the sky. A lot of this stuff, I think you could do it.
Honestly, I think he could have been done with it now since your first episode if you wanted to be. So imagine that going forward. If you think of how long it's been since we met the first time, you could have been there already, potentially. Well, maybe not the full IRS, but we could have had a plan.
Have a dent in it.
So what's going on? Because you're so nice, you're likable, you're funny. We talked off camera and stuff. So there's something going on where you haven't wanted to do it. What's going on?
I'm just making sure I had money aside to do so.
I
I do, but I had to rein in my spending first before contacting
the habits
the
with
IRS.
spending and the lack of discipline, choosing a lot of that spending and actions over getting to the goal you said you want. What do you think has led to that?
Just seeing that I'm actually glad that we scheduled this till October, because it gave me more time to figure out, because the worst feeling is like, well, you're going to get paid and this check is not yours. It's all going to rent, or it's all going to expenses, or this immediate debt, like say a payday loan. And now if I get a check, I don't even need to touch it, because it's just going to stay in the high yield savings collecting interest until every first of the month. And I take it out, and that pays the bills and for my allowance. And then that's when I thought, oh, right, the IRS. Because now that I have spare monies, I can tackle that. It was just a matter of figuring out
But you also talked about addictive tendencies in the past. Didn't you say there was lots of video game addiction? You had to like lock up your video games because you would spend all time playing them instead of working. You would spend more money on them than you had. You took out payday loans to get, like a gaming computer or something like that.
What's very interesting is like the other night I stayed up till about 4 a.m. playing Resident Evil 5. But like I said, I cut back tremendously on expenses.
Okay.
So, and I don't even have I think you'll notice that.
Well, as long as it doesn't get in the way of
actually
living life and then
Nothing wrong with having a hobby.
It's like it's like my monthly spending on BS went from, well, I guess you could say like just food. It kind of went from 800 to 700. And I'm trying to see how it's basically a game of how low can you go. And these days I don't even have the Xbox, what you call it, the Ultimate, where you pay monthly. And I'm playing old PS3 games that aren't even online anymore. I stay home, I cook. So
these are all good things. Those are all like net positive changes that it sounds like you've made.
How often do you get paid?
Weekly.
So you do get paid weekly. So, I mean, there's all kind of behavioral hacks you can do on yourself to where maybe, because look, I think you could go a week without paying a video game, and you maybe reward yourself where if you don't pay down $200 worth of debt, you don't get to play the video game. Is there something where you could gamify your financial life for yourself?
You know, I've done that with Raising Cane's, actually.
So, I mean, but seriously, that's what I mean. I know a lot of us, there's a lot of efficiency things where people will say, like, when you're having to work, there's nothing wrong with 25 minutes on a focus, 5 minutes break, 25 minutes. But you could gamify your financial life too, to where you just say, this week I get zero video games unless I pay down $200 worth of debt. And then you get to reward yourself with a day of binging for 4 or 5 hours. And then you start the process all over again. It's like a cheat day.
It's really cool.
Yeah, it's a win-win. Sounds like something out of Atomic Habits.
Yeah, small. I'm glad you've read that book because make the good habits easy. Make the hard habits, the bad habits hard. And that's exactly, if you limit your access and those small incremental decisions, huge results. That is Atomic Habits. I'm glad you've read that.
I credit him with my margin of success here.
That's awesome.
Man.
How many hours a week do you work, by the way, on that $20 an hour? On average,
close
give us
to
an
40,
average.
38, 39. Because I leave home, I leave early.
And have you been working all of them? Because I know Caleb, I'm trying to keep his voice down. I don't want to, even though I know we all enjoy it. You took some days off last time, and he was giving you some trouble on that.
No part-time here.
Okay.
And that's $20 per hour. That's your gross pay?
And we're,
taxes and deductions?
And we're looking at overtime this season, but I'm not going to hold my breath.
It's 15 before. Or 20 before taxes and everything.
20 before taxes, so let's say 17 after tax.
And yeah, travel season gets busy in the airport.
Yeah, so it's like, well, because we were just given a raise last year. That's between the company and the union. And so I'm like, well, if they just gave us a raise, I don't know how they feel about overtime, but let's see.
Okay, so if you take no time off, that's what?
It's roughly $3,000 a month.
Use the formula.
Give or take. Gross.
Wait, so I completely did something wrong. Sorry, go ahead.
$20 an hour. Right?
Yeah.
Let's say $650.
Times about, I said 38 hours a week, right?
Yeah.
That's $760 a week.
Minus
I did
15%.
something
Times
completely
4 is going to be about $3,000 gross.
So you're at about 40 a year.
Right? Somewhere right around there.
An extra 25 from steak.
I pushed an extra number and got you at like $120,000 a year. And I was like, this is
That would have been incredible. Just crush it. Just crush it.
Take that, Whataburger.
80 hours a week.
I did notice you did something in your spending, and I'm not gonna. I think it's good. I talk about I've become friends with people over at Course Careers, and you ended up purchasing one of their certification programs. And I love certifications. I love trade school. I love college. Whatever the best path is for the right individual, buddy. You know me. I could have given that for free. I could have got you a free certification. You didn't have to go spend the money on that. It's not very expensive.
You're welcome to reimburse me.
Huh?
Look at that. That's good. It's good. That's good.
Caleb
you can't
walked
be mad
into
at
it.
that.
I did.
You can't be mad at that.
So let's make your budget. Your rent $640. How much on average goes to utilities? Let's.
It's just a flat 640.
And that includes
Landlord
gas,
takes
electric,
care.
water, trash. Okay.
Yeah, he takes care of all the utilities. Yeah, so it's a good deal. Internet taken care of.
Really?
So
In the
yeah,
640?
yeah. Now put it in perspective, I'm pretty spoiled.
No, $640, especially with all that included. It's
Yeah,
insane
everything
for
included.
Austin.
Yeah.
Insane for Austin. So that's really cool. And obviously, so the minimum monthly payment from the credit card.
I do.
Who is that being taken care of right now? Who's that being withdrawn from?
Well, you see, my mom and I would prefer that my mom, if her next income tax comes around, I prefer that she actually have some of it saved instead of it all going towards debt.
That's fine. But when the $125 is taken, whose account is it taken from? That's okay. I just want to put it in your budget.
Okay. I actually pay $150.
Okay, but that's your minimum, though. I'm just trying to get your minimum budget. Are you getting closer? Well, we'll see. Are you getting closer to that $300? $300 in groceries, $300 in groceries, meal prep, and Sunday, Thursday. Boring meals,
60,
healthy meals.
About $350.
Okay,
$350, $400.
Well, you're at $300. $300 is what I'm putting for you, because that's what it is, and we're doing a grocery shopping trip to do it. Soon.
It's for me. It's more beneficial to order from Target.
Okay. Other expenses that happen in a month. I always blank in the moment.
YouTube Premium.
Yeah, I saw that one. I saw also Cocaine Bear.
Because
who's buying Blu-rays, by the way? I was going to ask because I was like, I asked our entire content team. I was like, who is buying Blu-rays still? And because you had a Blu-ray for Cocaine Bear.
I remember when
That's when you just really wanted to own that.
I remember
timeless classic.
I remember when Netflix first came out, and I was like, "Oh, Ren and Stimpy, cool."
How much are you paying for public transportation? Your bus passes
$42.
That's a month, a week,
a month,
and it's unlimited bus rides.
Yes,
that's great.
Not a bad deal.
How about your snacks? Because I know in the past at work sometimes you would go and get a number of snacks,
of which I am not putting in your budget, by the way. But you can say
because you get fed at work too. That was the other thing I remember. You actually get a free meal.
I leave my debit card at home.
Awesome.
I love that.
Most days.
You're doing some wonderful behavioral finance stuff. Hey, if I can't control it, I'll leave it behind. Hey, I don't walk through the aisles of the grocery store. I recognize I can order. That stuff is amazing. Like, that is like real tangible behavioral change.
Thank you, Bo.
Which is huge. Like, that's huge.
I should say, I don't say this enough, because I know I dig in, and it's because I love you, and this is how I show it and how I want you to do better. From our it's taken 4 episodes, but from our first episode, you've made massive improvements, and you are getting to a much better place. And you've changed a lot for your behavior, and I am really proud of you for that.
Thank you, man.
Yeah. Okay. Other things that you pay. Obviously, you're not paying for gas anymore, car insurance anymore.
What about cell phone? What about
cell phone?
So I'm stuck with T-Mobile prepaid. It's like $50 a month, but then like after taxes and fees, it's $55.
Okay,
so $55 a month.
And fun fact, I just paid 3 months, so I don't have a bill until January.
Do you save anything on that?
Not really, no. I just don't like to think about it every month.
That might not make.
If you're not making, there's no arbitrage on that if they didn't reward you, and you're paying 30% on every credit card. So like I don't care if it's $20 extra on your credit card. I mean, that's huge in the grand scale. You really do need to.
I wasn't thinking about that in that moment. Sorry.
Because every dollar on your credit card, you can think of like a 30% rate of return. So if you only pay one extra dollar on that, it's going to make you
$1,500 a month.
Should be paying it weekly.
Gone in
no time.
3 months.
I should be paying it weekly, huh? You know what? Actually, let me pay off that credit card by the end of the year.
Is that all for your monthly expenses? Anything else I should be aware of? I'm canceling all your subscriptions. I'm sorry. Your subscriptions don't exist.
Even YouTube Premium?
Your subscriptions don't exist.
Does anybody at this table have YouTube Premium, by the way?
And I love
it.
You
do it? So we do not.
I don't.
I do not have YouTube Premium.
I love it.
I watch a lot of commercials. I feel like it's almost like, because I grew up in Georgia, so I got the Hope Scholarship. So lottery tickets, I feel like every now and then I'll buy one, but I don't mind watching the ads.
I like to have
because I feel like we're benefiting from the ads on YouTube.
I do a lot of podcasts on YouTube, so I close, or educational documentaries, and I like to close the screen and listen to it while I'm driving.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And you need premium.
To be able to do that.
And also, we get good CPM for our sector, but for majority of YouTubers, if someone has premium and watches their content, they get more off of that than AdSense. Okay. So I also like supporting creators that way.
I still don't know. That's a wonderful endorsement. That is
that's a wonderful endorsement.
Doesn't mean you should.
You don't need premium.
You should have it.
You're paying 30% on your credit cards.
In defense, look, okay, impulse spending, right? It's a result of we see ads everywhere. Okay, so I have a theory. I believe if all of our guests subscribe to YouTube Premium, their spending would decrease because you see a Whataburger ad, Whataburger sounds good to me. Let me get Whataburger right now.
Self-control.
And also the 5
but
seconds.
But you're leaving your debit card back at the house. So it doesn't matter how many ads you see.
If I see a Papa John's ad, I'm going to order pizza.
On average, what do you think hits your account on a monthly basis? I think 2,700-ish.
2,000. I'm sorry, what was it?
You're not contributing to retirement right now, are you?
No, I'm just focusing on the save. Well,
is there a match?
It's a between savings and paying off that comically high interest credit
card. One thing we all agree on that the other lad in your town doesn't agree on is taking the match, right?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, number 2.
It's free money. Yeah, it's free money.
100% return.
Yeah, food, that's right.
Financial order of operations. That's right.
So you were asking the question about how much income hits your account monthly, and you said your guess is about $2,700 a month.
Is that right?
If it's 3,000 gross, it hits about $2,700 a month is what you're actually seeing in your checking account.
If we average it out across longer months.
Or how about this free YouTube Premium? I'm technically not paying for it because one thing I haven't disclosed yet is the stake.com where you log in every day and they give you $1. So it's basically free YouTube
The
Premium.
gambling website?
Yes.
What?
I just don't gamble.
But if you log in every day, you get $1?
Yep.
That's not worth the squeeze of the fruit.
That seems a bit risky,
Not
too.
for
Somebody who
most.
has addicted,
slip on that.
You have addictive personalities. We talked about being addicted to porn and sex before, and we also talked about addiction to video games. Video games, very similar correlation to gambling, by the way.
Well, through some miracle, I haven't touched the,
I just want you to be cautious.
Yeah.
That $1 a day is not because they want to give you $1 a day.
They're banking on me giving it right back to them.
They're hoping you slip right into some type of compulsion there.
Oh, yeah. If it was, they know what they're doing. But
just a fun fact, you should have an extra $1,438 a month to spend. To put towards
I was about to say, not to spend, to knock out some of this stuff.
Yes.
To knock out some of this stuff.
But did you follow the budget I said? Did you put it all towards it?
Progressively.
Transportation was $392. Now, okay, this pie chart isn't 100% accurate, and the reason is because this is your money, this is your debt, but this wasn't all your spending.
You accounted for okay.
This wasn't all your spending. So,
this was made by you guys.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Even though it wasn't a spending, you're still on the hook for it, right? So
Yeah.
that credit card's gone. I just want to reiterate the fact that credit card is cut up and gone and does not exist anymore.
Correct.
Meaning, if we were to look at this 1 month from now,
only I have access to do anything with it. Yes.
Which, fun fact, only 1.9% of spending went to grocery stores, where 2.6% of spending went to eating out.
What was the rest of what I ate?
We have unknown shopping. Let me take a look at our unknown shopping category.
Are you going to the Gold's Gym too? Because I see that as a recurring.
No, that was one of my brothers. It was my mom and 2 brothers.
I still think that's great though. Just put it on. I'll be happy to. You want me to put that in your budget?
I forgot to tell you I have. Okay, what was the other expense? Because I'm getting distracted here. Pardon me.
Well, so the unknown shopping, by the way, which took up 16.8% of the spending, was Target. You never know if that's groceries or.
Okay,
Amazon, you never know what that is, and same with Walmart because you can get anything and everything at both.
I can assure you. I think I left a description of like what I bought from there, but Target, I can assure you, was pure groceries, no Xbox controllers, nothing. Amazon, I did buy a piece of tech, so like
I saw that
the HDMI.
In miscellaneous bullshit, 5.5% of your spending, $245. Convenience stores, and I know you have an issue with convenience stores. Cidercade, Come and Take It Pro, spending at the job that's supposed to be giving you money, something to Google, and CubeSmart.
Oh yeah, that was the last month that I spent money at CubeSmart it was funny because the storage unit rent increased and the and my home rent increased. So I was like, okay, one of them's got to go, and I'm not sleeping on the street, so I took everything out of the storage.
Well, what's interesting...
And we have a spare room now to like move all my stuff in there.
So do you need to pay for that on a monthly basis?
Not anymore, no.
Okay, so what's interesting is $1,439 or $1,438 is what you should have left on a monthly basis, right?
Well,
you did put $1,000 towards savings, so you were actually getting pretty close. You did this in the month leading up to know you're being audited. And not the month previous, of which we had access to the credit card statement. But you did take that step. That shows you can do it.
Like, here's what I think is so wild. You were talking about
that's the budget he should do.
That's what he should do. And what you said is, hey, wow, you would have $1,400. Do you realize, had you, again, I don't want to take anything away from how much progress you've made, because that is worth celebrating. But you realize that if you had an extra $1,400 a month from your last interview, last time you were here, until now, what your financial circumstance would look like your debt would be knocked out. The taxes would be like moving in the right direction. You'd have money saved up and you'd be thinking about other things, about maybe not making a down payment on a house, but having money in savings, maybe starting to actually build up some sort of wealth, build up an actual fully funded emergency fund. Like, you're there. It seems like you were in a very deep hole initially, and you have been working on clawing yourself out of the hole. And right now you can like see the top of the hole, and all you have to do is just like pull yourself out of that hole. And once you get out of the hole, then you can start building. And frankly, building is the good place. That's where you want to be.
That's how many months it would have taken him to get out of this exact situation with the amount left over.
1 year.
Exactly. Just over.
Just
about
over a
the
year.
time since
Y'all did
Since we
hear.
started our
I
first.
want to make sure I didn't mishear this. You said, because you were so motivated by hearing that you could have this taken care of, you said maybe I can get this all paid off by year end.
Well,
was I the only one that heard?
credit
He
card.
said the credit card.
Yeah, the
The
credit cards.
card.
That's
Get
what I
that
meant.
paid
and then
Which I agree.
And
I
it
should
was that
probably
math.
get the ball rolling on the tax.
Was that math the full math on the full amount of the tax?
Yeah.
Because there's a chance that you
Yeah,
can
it is.
actually negotiate that amount down. Do you realize if
Yeah.
you got the tax negotiated down and you and your mom got the credit card debt paid off, there's a chance that inside of the next year, you could realistically be debt free. Like, you could realistically, inside of the next year, by Halloween next year, not owe anybody $1 if you got serious about it.
And actually, you're right. By the end of the year, you could, by the end of December, it would require, if you wanted to get to 1438 in a savings before you attacked it, and then throwing everything else towards it, you could do that. I just don't think you could like literally spend a single cent outside of the budget that I laid. It'll be tight. You can do it.
It wasn't doable before. Well, it's doable now.
And that's if you do it
'Cause
without
at
your
that-
mom contributing at all, which morally I think she should, but I don't want the risk of it relying on that and, being held over you forever.
It's a win-win either way, because next
is.
year we'd want to go in on a house.
You know what you need to
together,
do
so
when it's fully paid off and everything, though?
contact you.
Close it.
That's what I was thinking.
Close what? The credit card?
Credit card.
Oh,
You
yeah.
chopped it up, but someone could order a replacement. Someone could have it online.
Okay.
But we don't want the brother, the mom spending on it.
Well, no, I actually did close. Oh no, I already did close it actually, because they chopped it up and everything. So
Yeah,
I
but
assumed
it's
like,
still
okay,
not
no one's
closed.
gonna use it. And my mom told me she closed it, and then next month I see a notification. Oh yeah, you paid for a month's supply. I'm like, what the hell? It's like, oh, we didn't close it. So then I actually closed it.
Well,
So, but only $20, not transactions. $20 was spent on the card.
and
this
you've
last
canceled
month?
that subscription or moved it?
Well, I didn't cancel the subscription. I just closed the card. I don't know.
Okay.
I have access to the Spotify account, so I don't listen to Spotify.
Did you say that we're coming into overtime season? Did I hear that? Like at work, like it's potential.
Right.
Because like when it comes to finances, we all really only have two options. We can either spend less money, and you were rapidly moving to that place where like you can't cut so much more. Or you can, but like it's going to be behaviorally difficult.
Yeah.
But you do have an option where you could potentially make more. Like if you were willing to commit, and I know this sucks, but when you're in a bad situation, you have to do things that are kind of painful. If you could get overtime, instead of working 38 hours a week, you could work 45 hours a week or pick up an extra shift every 2 weeks or something along those lines. You could boost that income, and all that additional income could go towards knocking some of this stuff out. Right? I mean, that's a realistic scenario. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm just I'm hoping for it. Yeah, that's about it. Like if it happens, then great. Because I'm just a little skeptical.
You get to control. It's not. This is you.
Yeah.
This is
With
not
the
something
OT.
that happens. You have to.
Can you advocate for yourself though, Joseph? Can you like tell your supervisor and be like, "Hey, I know that the holiday seasons are coming up. We're super busy. I'm in need that I'd love to get myself out of this situation."
People call in every day anyway.
But advocate for yourself. Actually, make it. Don't let it just because nothing just happens. Because I could hear you were being somewhat dismissive on it. But I think if you go advocate for yourself, it will happen. It's going to be something that will happen for you.
I will also say, and I couldn't do the quick math in my head, so I had to calculate it, but there's an additional 128 hours in the week. You can pick up a second job as well, if for some reason overtime is not granted. for whatever reason.
I was thinking Raising Cane's. And also, I was thinking about getting another car too, but then I thought, no.
Not until you get the 30% credit card debt paid off.
Yeah.
And you've also proven you don't need to for living right now.
Because, and then I did the math. I was like, well, it's probably going to be $1,000 a month just to keep up with the thing. And then, like,
and your interest rate's going to be
you know what spreadsheet he should see in the future?
Subtract 30% from the tax for the taxes
You need to see
on top of the taxes I already owe. Nah, it's not worth it.
Yeah, I think that you have proven, Caleb said, you've proven that public transportation works for you. Yeah. It's a great solution for this season. Because then once you get out of that hole and once you start building, then one of your goals can be, hey, I want to buy an automobile. But that's not where you are right now. You have stuff that's on fire that requires all of your attention before you start thinking about that. And public transportation works for you right now. And so I think you have to protect yourself from getting comfortable, because while you're doing great, you're not out of the woods yet. You still have like some hard work to do between now and the end of the year if you really want to get that knocked out by December.
And honestly, man, if you do, and we negotiate the IRS and we, work for a while to pay this off, because you take advantage of a really good living situation in Austin, buddy, I could get you into a $10,000 paid for car pretty darn quick, or you could take advantage of their 23
Look at
8. There you go.
Joseph knows it.
I just can never get the number. For someone that does numbers all day, I just can't do that. Here it is. See, there it is.
Laminated to make it permanent. There's your 23.8. Right.
Rates are really hard right now.
Rates are hard.
So I would love to see you work your butt off and get put a massive down payment down on a car, or even just buy it in cash would be really cool.
Yeah.
I have a better idea.
Oh.
My brother, actually, he's getting into a new car as we speak, and he's leaving me his old one because, well, it's insufferable. It's a death trap. It has no AC in the Texas summer. So that's going to be mine.
That's the death trap, though. It's not dangerous, correct?
But you got to, you can fix the AC. You can fix it up a little. And then,
you're not going to like
that way I won't, that way I won't have to. You can just roll the windows down. It'll be all right. But
that sounds wonderful. But even owning a car like that, there's going to be expenses. Like car right now, you just said the bus is $42 a month.
Oh, it's going to sit in the parking lot for a couple months.
Okay, good.
And it's funny because they pitched this idea to me like, hey, you want his old car? Like, it's not even just have it. It's a death trap, whatever. And I said, okay, sure. And then they mentioned this right after I buy another month of bus pass. So I was like, well, I'm going to use that bus pass for a month. And awesome. I want to make sure I have and it's not even for a down payment, just, a couple thousand just to make the car an acceptable ride, because it's been to hell and back. So,
but Joseph, I would, once again, going back to gamifying, you can't even consider that car and activating it for yourself or getting insurance on it until you pay off the credit cards. Because
it'd be a wonderful reward
for the 30% you're paying every month on the interest rate. I mean, it's just that you're never going to be able to have the life that you want. And you're so close. I was so worried coming in today that it was going to be a situation where it was hopeless, because you were going to be so far that it was going to be one of those things where Caleb would be able to give you some positive steps, but the actual solution or the resolution wouldn't be like 3 months in the future. You have the potential to go into 2024 completely debt free. I mean, except for the offer and compromise that you're going to get to work, because I'm going to send Caleb the link.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's the thing about the car is I don't have much of a car debt to worry about once I take care of the credit card, because it's all just a matter of fixing up a death trap.
And the maintenance and the insurance. Like there are costs that come with auto ownership.
Gas is not cheap right now.
Even after you take care of payments, there's still insurance.
What's the age of the What's the model?
Gas.
Model age.
Kia Rio.
How long?
It's about 10 years old.
How many miles?
Less than about 120.
Oh, but it'll still run. Like that's still likely. You can't argue with the price that he's giving it to you for.
And it would save me, free. Right? Like, and it would save me so much time too, instead of having to ride the bus.
But I think that's got to be something where you have to set some sort of incentive. All right, I'm only going to activate this car if this credit card is paid off by December. And that will be my new year, new me resolution, whatever. And I'm going to use that so that I can be more efficient with my time, so I can create more income, so then I can get this tax thing knocked out. Right? It's got to be a tool to help you move in that direction, but you got to take care of the painful stuff first.
You don't own you just said it'd save you so much time if you got to drive that car, but you don't really own your time right now. I mean, I was looking at how much you get paid per month versus what they're charging you on your monthly interest rate. They own you right now. Yeah. So, I mean, you don't really own your time. So I would reward yourself and then have more control over your time after you pay off, so you don't have the overreward of the credit card companies charging 30%.
Yeah, debt is owing money you haven't earned yet. So
yeah, so I'd get out of that because you want to own your time. I mean, that's the thing.
Now, Joseph, you owe that debt. You know it's the 30% debt. I've talked to you about it for 3 episodes. You know you're coming on the show within this statement. Cash apping out $20, going to Cidercade $21, taking out $142 in the ATM. We don't even know where that goes. $43, we don't know where that goes. PBC of Maryland, I don't know. What is that? What is that $25 that went out? PBC
of Maryland. Wait, how much was it?
Come and Take It Pro for $76. What's Come and Take It Pro? A shooting range?
Oh no, had PE. Like. I went to a rock concert with no health insurance.
We don't go to rock concerts. We don't go. Dude, you're going to the shop and getting your glizzies. Also known as taquitos on this show. The rental car, I understand, is probably an emergency situation with getting your car figured out. So I get that. And it looks like
that was actually refunded from when I got my car total.
But that's what worries me about, not that, but everything I just said there is what worries me about what we just talked about. You knew you were coming on the show. You've known what you've had to do forever. You've changed some behavior stuff. You've not cleaned everything up that you know you can and you know you shouldn't, that we talked about so many times. Why?
What was that statement for? July?
No, this was August. Was it not?
August?
Yeah, this is August through September.
And you've had time.
From August through September. Okay.
You've made progress, but just...
You're worried that it won't be consistent.
Well, you've just demonstrated here that we're still willing to go spend money that we don't have. Mm-hmm. And I'm just curious why. Why is that not broken through to you yet? In your own opinion, why do you think you went out and spent that money?
Well, I did an experiment where it's like, okay, let me try to spend a little less, and it got progressively less.
So like a taper?
Waning off, I guess. Is that what that is?
I would be okay with a taper if it actually tapers, and maybe it has. I can accept that.
Okay.
I'm pretty strict about, a lot of the stuff trying to get you in a better position, but I can accept a taper from where you were. Maybe these guys are making me too nice.
I feel like we are making you a little nicer.
Well, I do worry. I hope it would have looked this way had you not come back on the show. Had this episode not been coming up, I hope it would have continued moving in the right direction. It's not incredibly clear to me that is the case, because I do think if you would have attacked this as severely as you did that last month, if you would have started that back at the beginning of the year, you'd be in a completely different situation right now. It's almost like when you know you have to be accountable for it, your behavior changed. But when you didn't, it just kind of like kept muddling along, right?
That is, yes.
People always ask me, what high yield savings account do I use for my own money? Some of you know by now it's SoFi. I love them. It's great for my checking account needs. It's great for my high yield savings account needs. And right now I'm getting 4.5% interest on my monies. I love that rate on my monies. So if you want to get a great rate like that on your monies, just check out the link in the description below. I have a paid affiliate link there. You can get bonuses all the way up to $250, and I took advantage of that, and you should too.
I'm not gonna argue with this man.
Okay.
I had a boss when I worked for construction. He'd say, if you're talking, you're not listening. If you're not listening, you're not learning. If you're not learning, well, why are we paying you? So it's like, yes, sir, Mr. Bo.
But if you never come back on this channel again, if you never do another follow-up, a year from now, will you be in a better situation?
Be in a better situation by January. In fact, Caleb, I have an idea. How about just, because this is what he did out of the blue. It's like after about 3 months, I was like, hey, you want to come on another episode? And I was like, well, he's had other previous guests on, so it's like it would be unfair to them if I didn't show up, because they had to show up after 3 months, and so like, yeah, so like I can't wuss out of it. It's like, fine, I'll show up. But what if we did arrange something where like just call me just at any point? It could be 2 months from now. It could be a year from now, just to keep me on my toes and be like, sure, yeah, you're coming on next week. Just to,
could be interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, sure, if that's the
like with
fear.
no heads up and no prep for it.
Yeah.
So you think the fear is what's gonna drive you?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm actually grateful that because I think we were discussing since like August or July or August about coming back on.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, let's do September. And then towards the end of August, actually, let's go for October. I was like, sweet, because now I have more time to get in line.
Joseph, I do have a question though, because I'm looking at because we know we've got the credit card gone. So I mean, you
let's consider it gone because that's accruing interest.
The only thing that I can't really track down, here is that you do have like close to $800 of ATM withdrawals, and that's a hard thing to be held accountable for because that's just straight up cash. And that's basically a quarter of you being debt free on that credit card. So that's a big number. What was that? What are you walking around with a pile of cash? No, ATM withdrawals all through.
There was a hiccup with my M1 checking account. There,
but these say ATM.
Yeah, no, it leads to that. What was it? So there was a transaction from, I think it was AV's rent-a-car place, and they told me like, oh, your what's it called? You left damage on the car, so we charge you for that. And I argued, no, I did not. I left that car in better condition than how I got it. So like I disputed the transaction, but like the thing I did reflexively before calling them was mark the transaction as suspicious, and M1 as a result just closed the card. So I could not withdraw money from it, and I had so much money in there, and I couldn't pay rent. So by the time everything was settled, it's like, okay, I think it was like that month's rent plus a little bit of next month's, or like what I owed previously. Yeah.
Okay.
I had to open up a Red Wood Forest account again. It's just been so confusing because like I wanted this to go smoothly, and now I have like 5 or 6 different banks.
That was about as clear as mud, though.
Can I say back to what you said?
I'm sorry. Yeah.
I withdrew cash from the ATM to cover rent. Is that inaccurate? I withdrew cash from the ATM to cover my rent. Mm-hmm. That's the answer. Yes.
Yes.
All right. Cool.
All right, Joseph. I want to do something. Okay, so 2.5 months from today. 2.5 months today, if you actually follow this exact budget, and I'll figure out what that date is. Can anyone tell me what's 2.5 months from today? I guess I can tell myself, couldn't I?
Okay. Right before Christmas.
December 15th, December 20th. You should have, at that point, been able to save up to a total of $1,438 in your savings account because you're already at $1,000, and you should have brought that credit card balance down to about $500. If that credit card balance is at $500 between December 15th, December 20th, I will give you $500 and we'll just wipe that clean. Are we good with that? Right. You talked about negative reinforcement in terms of using fear, essentially, of getting yelled at, of coming back on the show, which sometimes that can work for some people. Let's use some positive reinforcement. Mm-hmm. You get there, I'll wipe it. It's only $500. I know it's not crazy, but let that be essentially an extra $500 that's getting you towards your path of freedom. Now,
we'll match it. We'll match what you just did. If you tell us he did it, we'll send a match too.
That's $1,000.
We verify it.
Well, yes, it will be. Yes, we will. But I'm sorry, there's always a but. I offered you cash in the past to meet some certain goals after the second episode leading to the third episode. You didn't meet those, and I couldn't give you the cash.
Correct.
Second time, let's do it right.
Well, would you say that you're more confident in me this time?
I'm proud of what you've done. Mm-hmm. I'm proud of what you've done. You could have done better, but I'm proud of what you've done. We could always do better, though. Everyone could. I can do.
Sorry?
Yeah, go for it.
569.
What do you guys think he could get his IRS debt down to realistically from what you've seen through that program?
I mean, let me read this to you. This is actually from the IRS website. It says an offer in compromise allows you to settle your tax debt for less than the full amount you owe. It may be a legitimate option if you can't pay your full tax liability or doing so creates a financial hardship. Joseph, you sound like a financial hardship right now. We consider your unique set of facts and circumstances, including your ability to pay, your income, your expenses, and your asset and equity. We generally approve an offer and compromise when the amount you offer represents the most we can expect to collect within a reasonable period of time. And so it then goes and it has a cool little tool. It says who is eligible, and it says, confirm you're eligible and prepare a preliminary proposal with the offer and compromise pre-qualifier tool. So that's why I'm going to share this with Caleb. You ought to, without passing go, I mean, this ought to be before we hit the weekend. You ought to be on this tool, seeing how you qualify, because if we could get this down, I don't know, to specifically, but what if they could wipe out 30% of it? What if a third of it just went away? What if half of it went? I don't know how big this could be, because that's going to be part of the negotiation. But I do think there is some amount that you could come to an agreement with and then be on a path to be fully above water. And that's the part, because right now you just got all this pressure on you, and you're so close that I think I was worried it was hopeless, but this actually seems very optimistic.
Yeah.
But you got to take some work, because it doesn't get better. Time is actually working against you, and it's building in the background. So you've got to be proactive and advocate for yourself.
And if they don't forgive any of it for whatever reason, with the money you'll have left now with the Capital One minimum monthly payment going towards it, 10 months.
No more 150.
10 months. So October of next year, a year from now, because, we're thinking of the beginning of the year, starting that part, it would be done.
Think about that. Completely debt-free.
We met over a year ago. A year ago, so quick, in hindsight. That's incredible. That's your entire life now is changed. Changed. You don't have a cent for retirement, do you?
No.
Okay, and we're 33, we'll be 34 at that time. I assume as financial planners, that is a little scary.
It is, but you're still young. You still have a lot of time.
Yeah.
And that's the point.
Like you still have time where you can even get through this and save for retirement. Every dollar that you save, once you get past all this debt stuff, every dollar that you save can still be so powerful over the long term, but you got to get there. And the sooner you get there, the more powerful the dollars can be. Yes, it's scary. Yes, it's a little concerning, but it's not too late. You're not sitting here at 45 or 55 trying to figure this out. You're in your 30s. You can still change what your future financial life looks like. It is not too late.
And then the only reason I bring up the fact that it's scary isn't demoralize, saying, oh, it's too late or anything like that. It's saying, okay, let's make that 10 months, 10 months. Because you have to make this 10 months, 2 years. You just put another year off of starting to play catch up on the decade and a half of best compound growth in your life that you've missed. So, yeah. But think about that, dude.
Are you ready to crush it?
Yeah.
I want to hear some excitement. Come on.
Hell yeah, boys.
I'll take that as a win.
So,
do you have any questions for the lads? Do you guys have any extra things for Joseph?
What did you say our name was, by the way? We were like not Three
the Dollar Bill Dudes,
Dollar Bill
Bros.
Dudes.
Dollar Bill Dudes.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. I don't know if that's going on a T-shirt, but it's something. Okay, Joseph, what do you think?
Yeah, no, life's definitely been a lot easier. Like, on account of some discipline from somewhere to my credit. I actually wanted to mention, because like I've seen people who, again, a lot of it's like just, okay, so the simple, just save more and spend less stupid. Like, yeah, obviously, but it's behavioral for a lot of people.
It is.
And so I think I feel like I've graduated from like between 3 different methods. It's like, I used to have this, I wish I brought it with me, but like I had a secure, like a box, right, that you had a key to it, and I had envelopes in there because of the insurance paid for my car, the line holder, they sent me remittance checks, because basically I made payments to my car even after it got destroyed, and it was like, okay, we're refunding you for that. So I got all these refund checks. Like, let me see. So I put like $50 in every envelope, and I open one every week. So I have that barrier of, okay, not only do you have to unlock the box, you also have to tear open the envelope, and there's also a bench, like message on the envelope to discourage, like if you open early.
Instead of being negative, optimist. We have found, like, on our clients, when we every year we do an annual survey, 84% of our clients classify themselves as optimists. So instead of the glass half empty, I'd like to do glass half full. Why not consider something? You've already told us that you liked Atomic Habits by James Clear. Why don't you put the audiobook on your phone? That first chapter is fire. I mean, and it'll help you run through a wall of discipline, because that's what you need, more affirmation to get you excited. And I think if you just, every time you need it, go listen to that chapter again. And I think that's the part, because you know what you do. You've been hanging out with this guy who is the most motivating thing. It's now time for action. You're past the point. So use the affirmations, use the forces, change the behavior. You know what to do. So it's now time of action.
Thank you, Brian.
So
that was the make the bad habit unappealing.
Small incremental decisions have tremendous impacts in the long term. And then and he talks all about making good habits easy, bad habits hard.
And then I feel I graduated from that, because it's like, well, what if I just like did it every month? Since I have the money now, it's like every month, just okay, 300, 400, that's going to go towards the SoFi card. And that's my allowance spending, and just leave it at home. And now I bring my card with me, and I don't
look for loopholes. You are looking for loopholes for yourself to give yourself permission. I think you need to be unmerciful though on what you've got though. And I'm worried you're still looking for carve outs for yourself, and that scares me a little bit.
I know, but it's just a great feeling to carry my card with me all day and not spend anything. It's like, wow, I really did that. Let me do it again. And I don't know how I got here, but I'm here. Just through, and I have a question for the three of you. Let's say if you save the world, everyone's retired, they've retired their parents, everyone's financially free, and there was no need for this content. What would y'all do?
High five, celebrate, chest bump. It'd be awesome.
I'd compose music.
It'd be wonderful.
I'd be a school teacher.
Probably a personal trainer, maybe. I don't know.
I could totally. Man, I think we just all nailed a lot of cool things. That's a great question.
So this is a once in a lifetime opportunity. I'm pretty sure if anyone actually wants to sit down at their desk and ask them questions about monies that probably cost a crap ton of money, they are right here. So I know this is on the spot, but you've talked about potential housing. We talked about retirement. Anything like that, any questions you want their absolute top minds to answer on, now would be the time.
I'm very fortunate. I just spent the last 20 minutes kind of like on the bus just thinking, what am I going to ask them? It's like, but I think it was mainly the tax situation. And also, I mean, I guess we don't have to discuss it now because it's so far away, but we were like, we want to split the mortgage, and I like had a blueprint of how that's going to, of course, that's not.
You don't mean multiple names on the same, on the mortgage.
Oh,
right?
yes. Mm-hmm.
You do mean that.
Yes.
So he's talking about buying a house with his mom, is what he said earlier.
Risky. You never know what can happen.
And I'm accounting for her retiring in 7 to 10 years.
So let's do this. Let's get you through this stuff. And then when it's time to start talking about a house, let's have that conversation. Because you need to focus on the task immediately in front of you before you start thinking about the 7th, 8th, 9th level thing that you're going to work on. You know what the goal is. The blocking and tackling and logistics of executing that goal are less important than taking the steps until you can actually begin working on that goal. So you know you want to own a house. Let's get this debt paid off. Let's continue to, get the amount in savings, get the debt knocked off, get the taxes knocked out. And then we can talk about buying the house, because you don't need to focus any calories, any attention on that. All of your attention needs to go on fixing the problem immediately in front of you.
Yeah, you have your eyes on everything, you'll get nothing done.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, you need to do the small incremental steps. I mean, that's really where it's at, Joseph. It's back to action is where you're at.
Thank you.
I 1,000,000% agree with what you just said, but just because what he said made me a little nervous, I feel like we might want to dispel that idea pretty quickly, right?
I will say, it made me cringe a little bit, because right now you're at the mercy of if one of your relatives wanted to go reactivate the card that got cut up. you're on the line with that. I don't know if I'd be ready to jump right into that, but I think
a parent and a kid on the same mortgage.
Well, here's I think you've proven you and a family member being on the same line of credit has not worked out historically for you. Well, agreed.
And
this credit card did not work out incredibly well for you. Agreed. So perhaps the mortgage thing might not be the best. Now, there's nothing to say that you can't live together in the same house and you can't charge them rent, and that rent can help offset the mortgage. But both of you signing on that, it is like a marriage. And I just don't know that you necessarily want to marry your mom. That's not what I mean. But I don't know that you want to.
I think it would better our odds, for like getting a loan, no?
I see.
So it was more about having two different signers, two different. But if she's going, but you said she's going to retire in like 5 to 7
years. There's no guarantee, but I'm accounting for that.
Okay.
Well, I'd love to get you to a point where you buy your first primary residence, and if she lived with you, we could talk about a rent situation to help offset that. That's what I would prefer. The reason why I wanted to go back into that after you asked that is because I don't want that to be your dream for the next few years as you're getting out of this, and all of a sudden someone has to tell you, that's not a good idea. I want that to be kind of aware now, because you never know what's going to happen in a relationship. I'm sure you guys have a good relationship, but you never know what's going to happen. And that's tying your biggest asset and liability up in a relationship that could, who knows? Scares me.
It's going to be a lot better if you can do it on your own. And let's work to get you to that place where you can.
Copy that.
Because I don't think it's crazy.
Plus, if you guys get a mortgage that is being qualified under both of y'all's income and you're making whatever that monthly payment is based on both of your income, and someone sadly passes away or something like that, you'd
be in a bad spot.
Yeah. So I'm sorry. I'm sorry to be real world about it. I don't want you to. I want to try to get that mindset a little more corrected as you're going towards that.
Okay.
But we can get you a house in the coming years, dude. If we correct things and we actually get on the right course and we start looking, building additional income through a career path, you signed up for certification stuff. I don't know if you started
UI UX,
which is a great industry to get into. Even if tech's a little difficult right now, in the long term, that's great.
And the average age of first-time home buyers in this country right now?
Less than 33.
36 years old.
Oh.
So think about that. Most people in the country don't buy their first home until 36. Sure. So you're still you're not technically behind on that. We just got to get you moving in the right direction.
Well, full disclosure, it's not our first rodeo. Because we did default on a mortgage before. So
when you say
now I'm
you and
okay, no, I don't think my name was on it. Actually.
Okay.
Yeah, no.
Well, I definitely wouldn't get on the mortgage with someone who's defaulted a mortgage.
Well,
fool me once.
Well, the thing was, someone left, and then it was just us, and then I lost my job.
There's the relationship thing. Exactly.
All it takes is one oversight, and it could be 20, 25
That's the
years.
Learning lesson.
Hey, can we have an optimist mindset on this though?
Yes.
You've already had one failure with this, but y'all are still love each other and are still super close.
It's a good thing.
Let's end on that positive note with that before we get right back into the same situation.
I don't know. We're all going to have 15, 25K saved. A lot of that is for emergencies. The rest is for the down payment. And then everyone needs to maintain a cash flow of $300-400. That way, if we need to use that emergency fund, you can get refilled ASAP.
A lot of thought has gone
and
into this, and that's why I wanted to talk about it.
And that's just to start with. But of course, let's take care of first things first. The debt, so that I have a greater margin or a greater cash flow to speed run this project here.
Any other question for the lads?
I know I'm going to walk away and with so much of you guys I could have asked them this, that, and the other. I don't know. I just wanted to tell the audience.
Tweet them. They'll look at their phone if you bring it up in person.
Oh.
Isn't that how Twitter's supposed to work? You tell someone you tweeted them?
Yeah, by the way, talk about embarrassing. Is the Kobe goes, who runs y'all's Twitter feed? I'm like, the guy you're talking to. He's like, I tweeted to you guys and y'all didn't respond. I'm like, oh, so I pull it out of my pocket.
One quote I want to share is that saving money, easier said than done. Yes, it's hard, but on the flip side, it's staying broke is harder, and I've done that my whole life. So,
did you quote that from yourself now?
It should be easier. If anyone said that before, let me know. But that's kind of was like, well, yeah, I don't really have any excuses, do I? So, yeah.
If you don't own your personal finances will own you. And you've been living in a world where your personal finances have been owning you. And you are slowly starting to move the equation onto the other side where you can own your financial future. And that's a great place to be, but you have to keep moving in that direction. And it's not easy, but it's worth it. Absolutely.
All right, man. December 15th to December 20th should be a $500 balance. 500 from me, 500 from them. We'll get it. Let's all put our hands in the middle.
There you go.
Joseph stops up and he makes more money and he changes his entire life and everything becomes great and generational poverty is ended on 3.
1,
2, 3, go!
All right, so for the first category, spending and budget, I'm going to give Joseph a 5 out of 10 because it wasn't great. He didn't necessarily stick to the budget that Caleb gave him. However, he did make some improvements. He cut his expenses, and so I think that he's middle way through that. For debt, I'm going to give him also a 5 out of 10, and here's why. His debt load did not go up, but it also didn't increase. I'm not going to give him a ton of credit for getting into a car crash. That doesn't seem like even though his debt went down, it wasn't like he planned that out. So it did not increase though, so that's why I'm going to give him a 5 out of 10. For his emergency fund, I'm going to give him a 7 out of 10 because he actually has $1,000 sitting there. Now his goal is around $1,500, so he's working his way there. I'm going to give him a 7 out of 10. For retirement, 0 out of 10. He's just not there yet. He's not moving in that direction yet. And for real estate, also 0 out of 10. Although his rent is incredibly affordable for the Austin area, still a 0 out of 10 because he's not a real estate guy yet. So all in all, I'm going to give Joseph a 6 out of 10. I think his situation is much better than I expected it to be coming in here, but not as good as it could be. If he gets a fire lit under him, I think that he can be in a fantastic spot.
We had a blast hanging out with Joseph. I want to give my take. So spending and budget, I did a 4. I think a lot of what progress Joseph made was because of access to the credit card, because it sounded like one of the relatives cut it up. So nobody was spending money on it. So I don't know if it was discipline more so than access. So that's why I gave it a 4. Overall debt, I actually went 6 on this because I can see daylight. I can see actually a moment in time in the not too distant future. I'm talking like 3-4 months in the future, Joseph could be in a completely different place. That's optimistic and positive. So 6, emergency fund. 6, he made progress. He added to it. That's over $1,000 added by Joseph. That shows me he has the potential for in a 4-figure a month to make progress. That's a positive. Retirement, 0. He has no retirement savings. He's got time. He's young enough. He can make it happen. Real estate, he's a 0. He's got to take care of a few other things before he gets to it. So if you added all this up, that is 16 out of the possible 50. So that probably puts him to a rounding up to a 2 out of 10. But only because of retirement and real estate. See, I'm a nice guy. Caleb.
Yeah, I guess I apparently I'm the mean one. Spending in a budget, I was 3 out of 10 because he's still making purchases that he absolutely should not be able to when there's that insane debt in the IRS that shouldn't exist. I would have put it at a 5 out of 10, but because that credit card was there and it was still in his name, technically, I had to bring it down a bit. Debt, we're on a slightly different scale. And whenever I see collections or I see IRS, it's an immediate 0 out of 10 for me. So 0 out of 10. Emergency fund, I am glad he put $1,000 there. That's, on the way to like $10,000, but that's going to be a 2 out of 10 because, hey, you at least started it, but we're not at the $10,000 he probably needs. Retirement, there's nothing 0 out of 10. Real estate, there's nothing 0 out of 10. So that's going to be an overall hammer financial score of 0 out of 10. However, our collective, what was it?
I was a 2.
Dollar bill dude bros.
Dollar bill bros.
Our dollar bill dude bros score is a 3.3 out of 10. Make sure to check out all the resources linked in the description below. They are what I use or would use in situations. If you want to be in an episode of Financial Audit and you're able to make it down to Austin, Texas, fill out the survey in the description below.